Hello, my name is Lydia Jordan. I'm the CEO and founder of Lycon Cosmetics. We get a lot of questions about which spatula is suitable for what, and today I'm going to show you my preferences, and I really find them very, very good because they're very easy to work with, very easy to teach with, and that's what today is going to be about. So I'm just going to explain a few things first before I actually demonstrate on an eyebrow. We need different spatulas for different parts of the face, and sometimes you need a different spatula for different type of wax. And so we have quite a number of spatulas, and I really need them all. Some of them I don't use very often. So we have the eyebrow one, which is the precise shaping spatula. They're the cuticle stick type. Now, the great thing about this particular spatula is that it's got a very nice pointed end, so you can get into detail with it. Then we have for eyebrows, a thin type. It can be for lip waxing as well. So the thin type spatula is fantastic. You can really still do a great job on the eyebrows. It's just not my preference, but I do often use it. And it's great for lip waxing, even nose waxing, and maybe other small areas. You know, it's a great spatula if you're doing like Brazilian shaping for the hair to become a heart shape or something like that. They're really, really handy for that. And we have a fairly new type of spatula, which is a slanted thin type. And it's very, very easy to work with, and it's wonderful. It's very economical to use, and you've got a nice point. The spatula is thin enough to be able to go very close to the eyebrow shape and not pick up any hairs you don't want to. If you have to go backwards with it to redirect the hair back into their normal growing position, you can do it. You know, they're very, very easy to use on the other side and economical, as I already said. Then we have the paddle pops, which are like an ice cream stick. I totally disapprove of paddle pop waxing for the eyebrows because it's a very thick spatula. When you apply the wax, it's quite difficult, and I've seen people wax with this, and I find they are just staying away from everywhere because it's so easy to, when you get here and you've got wax, that rounded bit there is going to catch hairs from the eyebrows. You cannot be precise with that one. And then we also have the tongue depressor. Now, not for eyebrows, definitely. This is really great for larger areas, for the face, if you're doing a forehead, etc., neck, and for the rest of the body. So they are very, very important as well. And another spatula is our XL tongue depressor. What it's really, really handy for is if you are doing large areas of hot waxing on the legs, which you can do with a lot of our waxes, like the Lycodream, the Lycotech, as well as all the others. But what it's great for is to keep it in a heater as a stirring spatula, because, you know, when the wax is actually held at temperature for a while and it's not been used, it can actually become quite thick at the top. So in a bigger heater, it's really great to actually use the XL spatula to actually stir more easily. And if you're using tongue depressors generally, then you know which one you're using and which one you know that this one would not be re-dipped. But you don't have to throw them out all the time. You can keep it in there all day long, and you can differentiate it against the normal tongue depressor. So I've already explained a lot about all the wooden spatulas, which are fabulous, easily disposed of, but there's also a very popular metal spatula. Now, the metal spatula is fabulous for strip waxing, not for hot waxing, and because it's metal, it retains the heat from the wax, so it makes it a lot easier to spread the wax on the skin. You can apply the wax super, super thinly, and that makes a lot of economic sense because you will use a lot less wax. But as with everything, you really have to observe the regulations of your own country, whether you can re-dip well, everyone is not redipping spatulas these days, but sometimes I do find a lot of salons do redip the metal spatula. I'm not sure why that's allowed or how that works, and I'm not here today to actually tell you about redipping or not redipping. Everybody has to follow the directions in their own country and what is the best thing to do at your end. I just love doing eyebrows, but there are so many different situations with eyebrow hair that we need to be very, very careful as to how we do it and which tools we use. So first of all, we have to determine the shape for that person, the sort of eyebrow hair they have, and then we decide when we're going to start to wax. Initially, we would discuss it with a client to explain to them what we're going to do. Now, sometimes eyebrows hairs grow downwards, sometimes they grow upwards, and they can be growing downwards here. So ideally, we should decide whether we want to trim the hair before we start waxing, because once you start waxing, if the hair is pointing downwards or upwards, you will remove hair from within the eyebrow that you don't want to remove. So the best way is to brush the eyebrows and then use these really lovely Lycon eyebrow scissors. They're very, very precise, they're very easy to use, and they fit in any size hands. And you would actually decide how the eyebrow is falling naturally. It's a good idea not to actually just go cutting, because you have to test with your brush to see how the eyebrows falling in which position, and then cut. So you might want to cut this way, you might want to cut down that way, as well as under here. But keep on brushing and examining what you actually need to do. Then we will do the eyebrow waxing. Now, ideally, for people who haven't done a lot of eyebrow waxing, I do recommend that they actually practice on their own hand. And the easiest way is to draw a left and a right eyebrow right on your own hand, and then you can actually apply the wax onto the hand to practice the application. I do always put a little bit of pre-waxing oil on there to protect the skin. And you know, I'm a little older, so my skin is very thin and it needs a lot of extra protection. And that is exactly why we also must make sure we use the right pre and after waxing products, as well as during the waxing, to protect the skin and make sure it's very comfortable for the client, and we don't remove any skin. Now, my favorite spatula for eyebrow waxing is this one. It's like a cuticle stick, or some people call it an orange wood stick, and the latest version we've got is got two slanted ends. So you can actually use both ends. So if you're disposing the spatula, you've got two ends to work with. So this is actually the Lycon eyebrow wax, and we only take about kind of a peanut size. First application is with the hair growth, and you really, really need to go very close to the hairline. Remember, you've already pre-cut any straggly hairs to make sure that you get a really, really nice line. The reason we go with the hair growth for the first application is because if there's long hair down here, if you go against the hair growth, you are going to flick some of the hairs that are longer. Flick them with a spatula, and they can actually pick up hairs you don't want to remove from the actual eyebrow. That is why we go initially, first application, with the eyebrow, but remove against. And this one is also against. So second application, a little bit of extra pre-waxing oil, always do that before any application. And we are going to apply this time against the hair growth. So we're going against the hair growth, up. If you need to dip in, well, you do the other side, unless you're re-dipping. Depends on the regulations in your own country, whether you can re-dip for some areas or not. Then you can extend it. And sometimes you do need to go backwards this way again to get a little bit closer to the hairline. So on the other side, we do the same. We are going against the hair growth. The wax is there, and now I'm going to carefully spread it. Now, the great thing about this particular spatula, like the cuticle stick, is because it's got a sharp little edge on the sides. You can actually scrape with that edge against the hair growth to lift the hair up into the wax, and that creates better hair removal. So to remove this, we go against the hair growth, and there we go. Okay. Well, thank you for watching. I do hope that was useful. If you have any questions, please get in touch. Otherwise, happy Lycon waxing.